All right, we're here in the Pittsburgh 4-Point Sheridan doing the Ron Paul convention here, and we're talking to people around the area, seeing what they think of Ron Paul. Why do you think Ron Paul is the best candidate for president?
I feel that he's most in line with the foundational principles of this country. I feel that he is the obvious choice for the free market. I feel that he is the obvious choice for freedom and liberty. I believe that he will reduce the size of the government and give it back to the people where, in the hands of those whom it belongs.
Okay. What's your opinion on the press coverage that Ron Paul's been getting recently in the mainstream media?
What press coverage? But actually, I would say that, largely they're ignoring him at this point. As his popularity grows, that will be impossible. I expect probably the next phase will be a semi-smear campaign, but to be perfectly honest with you, I think it's fairly typical.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
They're supposed to put at 7.
Hi. How you doing?
The radio station's over there interviewing people. Yeah. Oh, he's talking to somebody over there.
All right. Here we are.
Dr. Ron Paul!
Thank you for inviting me to the revolution. It's really great to see everybody. Before I get started, I would like to introduce some very special people in my life. First, I would like my wife to stand up. We have been married for 50 years this year. This is an unusual weekend for us because we're here on a family reunion, and for that reason, 4 of my brothers are here. We were a family of 5. All 4 are here today, and I would like them to stand. There's my oldest brother William with his wife Norma, Dave with Margie, Jerry with Wayne and Ron, and their family too. And our oldest son, Ronnie, is here with 2 of his girls. You know, the campaign's been going on basically for about 6 months or so. And I'm the first one to admit that I have been as surprised as anybody, maybe more so. But it has been a delightful surprise because I have the tendency of looking at things from the Washington area. And quite frankly, there aren't a lot of people over there that share our views, unfortunately. But there was no way to know how many people would be receptive to the ideas of freedom, limited government, and the Constitution. But I can tell you one thing. In the last 6 months, I can guarantee you there are a lot more out there than I ever dreamed. A lot of people will come up and ask me, well, how do you get this success? I mean, why do these people come out and what is happening and how did you do it? And I have no answer for it, other than the fact that I can tell you, freedom is popular.
Yeah.
happen in the campaign. Not only is it popular, but it brings a lot of people together. Rather than being divisive, if you look at it, if you look at the Constitution and rule of law, instead of dividing people, it brings people together. And I think that is so wonderful. Not only does it bring a lot of people from diverse areas of the society, but it brings a lot of young people into the movement. And that's what really excites me. I am really pleased with, of course, everybody that comes and those who have been with us for a long time. But really is exciting when I see the teenagers come to my office in Washington and they're all smiles and they want to get a picture and they bring it in their parents. I'll say, how did you get interested? And the parents will say, well, it was my kid here. He's the one that found you on the internet and made me look at your video.
Yeah.
Things. I think the country is ready for some changes, no doubt.
Yeah.
I think the message is powerful. The message of liberty is something that we are starved for.
Yeah.
And also the internet is just a bit helpful to us. So we have the tools and now available to us that were not available in the past. We had to depend on only television that you couldn't afford and you might not be able to get into debates and all the other kind of problems. But today it's more competitive. It's more competitive because the internet is a political equalizer and we need to use it.
Yeah.
My main concern, and I'm sure yours, is the fact that we worry about our personal liberties, and we believe America was designed to promote liberty and promote self-reliance, and that's why we have been free and prosperous. But today, people feel threatened, and rightfully so, because under the conditions of war is the times when we are most threatened. And many years ago, during World War I, Randolph Bourne wrote a book called The State. And he said in that, he says, war is the health of the state. This is the reason that we have to be so cautious when there's war going on. No matter what the war is all about, war, when they say we're going to have this declaration of war against whatever, you can look out, because usually it means going to be a declaration of war against our liberties. That's when we have to be vigilant.
Yeah.
Today we have quite a few wars going on. We've been told that we have a perpetual war. It's a war against terrorism. Something that too many Americans take for granted. Because terrorism is a tactic. You can't declare war against a tactic. But it has allowed our leaders to say that the war will last forever and it can be any place in the world that they choose. And we have to be more precise because they have literally said to us that it's going to continue, which means that our liberties are going to be on continual attack if we don't address this quite directly. Not only do we have the perpetual war on terrorism, which is not definable, but we have the war in Iraq, which is slightly more definable, but makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
I've had no problem with my position on Iraq. A lot of people come up and they say, well, what about you taking this position against the war in Iraq and you're a Republican? Republicans are supposed to be for war. Baloney. We don't have to be for war.
That's right.
Yeah.
But the Iraq War actually started many, many years ago. It didn't start in 2003. It really started in the early 1990s, and then there was a resolution passed in 1998 that said that our policy in this country would be for regime change. And so it's been around for a long time, and it didn't occur with 9/11, and certainly 9/11 had nothing whatsoever to do with Iraq.
Yeah.